joined today by James Matthew Baker, long-term friend of mine. How I know James is from school, really, isn't it? It's been back then, and
we look alright for 50, don't we?
Yeah, we're not bad, not bad for 50 years old. But I've known James for so long, and there's so many things that together we've been involved in things that he's introduced me to. He was actually the first person who introduced me to jiu-jitsu with Rick, believe it or not, in Epsom. He dragged me down. He said to me, "Oh, Theo, you've got to come and try this class. It is unbelievable." And I'd been doing sort of Muay Thai for a good 10 years then, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll give it a go. I'd tried judo and a few other things, and it didn't grab me. And no pun intended, no pun intended. But yeah, James took me down there, and I come out after that class, and I was like, oh my god, I either walk away, and this never happened, because I was being tapped by really small people, and I still have a clue, or I'd get stuck in, and I got stuck in, and it was all thanks to this man. But yeah, loads of stuff that James has been doing. Just lately, you just did a strongman competition.
The strongman competition was on Armed Forces Day, end of June. That was down in Littlehampton on the coast. Really good fun. First competition, I took second place, which I was pleased about. Representing the gym that I work and train at, called Like to Lift, which is based in Merstham in Surrey.
Oh yeah.
And the beauty of the gym down there is that we've got access to all the strongman equipment down there, so that's one of its unique selling points for people to come and train down there.
Yeah, I'd actually come down for a couple of sessions with you, and I must admit I was put through my paces. I come out and I felt good. It's a really different type of training, isn't it? It's not like lifting weights. It's not like going down and repping weights at all. It's a completely different thing, and when I come out, I actually felt like I used every muscle in my body.
It's just a fun and friendly environment. The problem with a lot of commercial gyms is that there's a very high turnover of members which go to these places purely because of boredom more than anything else. You go in there's not very much atmosphere. There'll be rows of endless cardio machines. I mean, they have their purpose, but in terms of functionality, there's so much more beneficial types of exercise you can do than simply just sitting on a bike and pedaling, or getting on a treadmill and walking, which most people do. If you want to go for a walk or a run, go outside. Much more interesting scenery.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, down at Like to Lift, it is like a strength and conditioning facility, and I think that is the way forward for gyms to go. I mean, we've got stuff down there which caters for anyone and everyone of all ages and abilities, whether it's just general health and fitness, sport-specific training, Olympic weightlifting, powerlifting, strongman. The list goes on. It's got something down there for, say, men, women, and even the youngsters as well. Got some good trainers down there who are qualified and specialise in different areas of the fitness industry.
Yeah.
And it's just going from strength to strength down there.
So. Yeah, because I see on Facebook, I see how many clients you've got, and there's so many different varied types of people, women, men. A lot of the guys that train with me at Nova, they come down to you to get stronger and fitter for their training. So I see how it's growing so fast, and I mean, this is what you do. This is what you specialise in. So you get guys stronger, faster, and with the way that you teach. Do you give them tips on what they should be eating, or do you sort of let them get on with it? And
I mean, obviously you give advice. I mean, at the end of the day, I've always gone along things which like common sense principle. At the end of the day, there's no point in saying to someone you've got to be completely regimental, have this at that precise time, because more often than not, unless you're 100% motivated and have the willpower to do that, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people when they say they're going on a diet, inverted commas, a waste of time that is, they'll deprive themselves of having things they enjoy. Like they'll say, right, I'm not going to have any chocolate, as an example. And I just think to myself, why? And I go, well, it's bad for you, isn't it? I went, well, it is if you stuff your face with it all day, every day. Yeah. But, you know, everything is all right in moderation.
Yeah.
And, you know, when people do say to me, oh, yeah, I'm going to eliminate that, I just say, what's the point? Because you'll just build up frustration, and it will always be at the back of your mind. You'll be thinking to yourself, I can't have chocolate, I can't have chocolate. In the end, you'll just crack, and you'll just pig out on twice as much of it.
Yeah, that's so true, actually.
So, I mean, basically, I always say to people, if you want something, just say to yourself, I want it, but do I need it? And if you need it, then have it. Yeah. It's fine. It's not going to be detrimental to your health.
No.
If you have a piece of chocolate, you have a beer, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's fine. Just take care of your cravings, get out your system, and then blah blah, move on.
So what made you go in? Because I know before you used to do a hell of a lot of weight training. You used to do a lot of personal training involved with traditional type of weight training and stuff like that. So what transferred you over to doing more strongman stuff?
It was just like anything. You do something for long enough, unless you have a specific goal that you're training towards, whether it be a competition or something like that, you can find yourself just going through the motions, and then your training can start to plateau and you hit a brick wall, and then you think to yourself, where am I going? What do I want to achieve? And then I see some of the stuff that we've got down at the gym, and we've got access to all the strongman, and you know, there's hundreds and thousands of people in the world that are bigger and stronger than me, but within myself, I've always felt that one of my strengths is actually my strength. So I thought, why not put it to a good use, try out some of the stuff. Developed a real keen interest into it. Fortunately, we've got a couple of people down at our gym that are active competitors in strongman competitions, so they've given me some guidance and advice. I've trained with them, picked up more and more knowledge, and most important thing, I enjoy it more than anything. I think if you're doing something for the sake of it, if it becomes a chore, there's no point in doing it. Yeah. Like even when people say, I need to lose weight, for example, I need to get myself in shape, but I hate the gym. And I say, don't go to the gym then. Yeah. Just you've got to find something which you're inspired by and occupies your mind. That's why sports, for example, are really good. I mean, a lot of people don't like necessarily just going out running. Unless you're really into running, that's great, go for it. But if people think to themselves, I want to go out for a run because I've got to lose weight, they'll do it and go, oh God, it's so boring. You take up a sport, you know, football, rugby, just anything where you're running about, you don't think about the running aspect. Because you have something to occupy your mind. Yeah. That's what it all comes down to at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what I find. See, a lot of the students I get in the class at Nova Foresight say exactly that. I mean, they come down, they're bored of being in the gym, doing the same monotonous routines. They come to the class, and each class is different, so it makes them feel a lot better about what they're doing in their training, takes their mind off of it, and they get a better result because you're enjoying what you're doing.
Also because there's other people in the class.
That's the other thing as well. Yeah.
Doing a sport or cardio on your own, you never push yourself, unless you're really motivated and dedicated, you're never going to push yourself to somewhere someone else is pushing you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Competition's good for success.
Yeah, definitely. Now, it didn't always start with weights, did it, James? So I remember a very long time ago when you were pretty damn good at cricket.
Well, I wouldn't say pretty damn good. I was all right. I could hold my own. I was a lot skinnier back then as well.
Yeah.
Started eating pies a lot more recently.
For the people that are listening that have not watched the video and are only listening to the podcast, James Baker is a machine. This guy, he is a monster. People don't realise. He honestly, I mean, I'm a big guy, but James, my God, he's a beast. He's a beast, guys. When you see the video, you'll understand what I'm saying.
Everywhere I go, I just keep seeing fridges in front of me. I can't help myself. Got to put a padlock on that. But I mean, when I was 9, I think it was my first cricket match. My dad used to be a former professional cricketer. He played for Surrey in the 1970s, so naturally I just followed in his footsteps. Was really fortunate enough to receive good coaching from him because he's one of the top coaches in the country, and currently does a lot of work with the England setup as well up at Loughborough University. So naturally just fell into the game. I used to be an opening bowler. More often than not, the opening bowlers, the fastest ones. There were faster ones than me, yeah. But I tried as best as I could. Developed a love for the game. I played religiously from the age of, so I started at 9, from the age of 10 to 17, religiously throughout every summer. I'll be playing 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week throughout the summer. Really lucky to have the privilege of training up at the Oval Cricket Ground where Surrey train and play. Used to play with some great players. I mean, back in the mid to late 90s, you could go through the entire Surrey squad and everyone was an international player. I mean, you had people like Alex Stewart, Graham Thorpe, the Hollyoake brothers, Mark Ramprakash, list goes on and on. Obviously, me being a bowler, I used to sort of look up to people like Martin Bicknell, Alex Tudor, and like some of the other fast bowlers that are in the team at the time. But like anything, one thing happens for a reason. I just had a bit of a bad run in my final year playing when I was 17 and just lost interest with the game, really. I mean, it happens. It was at a period where your mates start going out having fun on Friday, Saturday nights. You think, I'm missing out a little bit. A few of them going away on holidays. You think, oh God, is this really what I want to do? And eventually I just came to a decision that actually it's not what I want to go into.
Yeah.
So you were probably dedicated to it.
Yeah.
Doing it.
For a few years. Even went on a Surrey under 19 tour. It was to Barbados. This was in December 1999. This would have been. So I'll let you work out how old I was back then. So yeah, I mean, it was great. Got to go away, experience playing abroad. Picked up a nice tan as well. Then got in trouble from my mum on the way back because I shaved my head the last day before I left.
Oh my God! I remember those photos as well.
Wow.
And I mean, that following summer. I joined my club team. I was in the Premier League, and I didn't have a very good time with them. I found it very cliquey. I'd be playing midweek for Surrey, like the under 17s and under 19s, having a really good time, doing all right, and then it'd come to playing for the club team in the Premier League on the weekend, and I just lost interest. Things weren't happening, and that's where I just started to think to myself, this is really what I want to do.
Alright, so you completely switched.
Literally just like that, just done. Didn't even finish that season. I thought, I've had it. Don't feel it anymore. Yeah. But it was at the stage where I was really into lifting weights at the gym, so it wasn't like I just stopped doing any physical activity. I had something like a new sort of found love, and I just sort of naturally just went from cricket and then just carried on with the gym training. And then with the gym training, I did that religiously, pretty much do most of the time now, for a couple of years. And then I started to think to myself, I wouldn't mind putting this training towards something else again. And then this is where I had my first experience with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at Nova Força, which is where I've obviously introduced you to.
Yeah.
And then I stopped and you didn't, and you got better than me. that period, I went there for a couple of months, and then I went over to America to do professional wrestling, because I've always watched it as a boy growing up and always appreciated it as a fan. And it was only randomly one day I was working in the gym, and one of the members just caught me doing nothing on a daytime shift. Sorry about that. I was just watching WWE on the wrestling screen, and someone said to me, "Why don't you do that?" Literally, that's all it took.
Wow.
Something clicked. Thought, yeah, that's what I want to work for.
So how do you start going into that?
There's places to train at over in the UK, but for some reason, because I was young, I wanted to get out and experience some of the world. And I thought, well, wrestling's massive. Professional wrestling is massive in USA, so I just looked at schools I can go and train at over there. And I found this place. It was called WWA4, one of the World Wrestling Alliance schools, based in Atlanta, Georgia. And I looked at who the head trainer was. It was a fella called Curtis Hughes. And Curtis Hughes was, if anyone's a professional wrestling fan, he was the first man to take the Undertaker's urn from him. And so I thought, bloody hell, I remember watching this fella as a kid on TV. I thought, this is great. I can go somewhere else across the other side of the world, go and train, learn how to wrestle. I'm going to get to have the honour of training with this man who I've sort of idolised growing up as well. And that was it. Simple as that.
You've done no previous training for the wrestling?
No, went over to the school, and the very first time you get in the ring, you learn how to take a bump where you just basically land on the meat of your back. After that, you learn how to hit the ropes. Obviously, if you've seen in pro wrestling matches where they rebound off the ropes, and then there'll be a sequence of moves will happen afterwards. And I remember the first morning after my first night in the ring, I was black and blue. I couldn't move at all. And then just from that one day, it just made me appreciate even more how much wear and tear like these people go through on a daily basis. And a lot of people will throw around the word, "Oh, it's fake," but there's a difference between fake and having a predetermined ending.
Yeah,
you can't,
staged.
if you watch some of the stuff they go through, you can't fake that.
Yeah, the bumps are real.
Yeah, I mean, when I went over there, I met one of my best mates who I'm still in contact with now. He's actually working for WWE under the name Heath Slater. And so, we started out together, and then obviously I came back because my visa ran out. Probably didn't want me to go back.
How long were you there for?
Well, just as a tourist, you can go for 3 months at a time, but anything longer than that, you need to apply to stay here for a longer duration. But it's very tough to get one sorted out, I found, in America. But in my early 20s, I was going there for a few months, coming back, working for a bit, going back for a while. And then it just got to a certain point where, do I continue to do this and hope for a breakthrough, or do I just come back, just get some qualifications? And then, the good thing about pro wrestling is that because it's classed as sports entertainment as opposed to just sport on its own, so there's not really any age limit to doing it. I mean, if you look at people like Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, I mean, they've been around forever, basically, and they're still going. At the end of the day, if you're marketable and you're going to make the company you're working for money, you're going to get a job. So if you bring people into the seats and they're going to obviously make money for you, then that's it. That's all there is to it. So it's one of those ones, never say never. I mean, it's not a priority of mine to go back into it at the moment, but who knows? Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
You did the hard bit, was to go out there.
Yeah.
You do a lot of touring while you're there as well, don't you? Like going to different gigs. And
Yeah, we did. So the school was based in Atlanta, so We did a lot of shows in Georgia State mainly, some of like the southeastern states as well, but it was predominantly in Georgia.
Yeah.
So you only trained for. So you pretty much did a show almost straight away in your training.
Literally,
actually doing the shows.
At the school, you'd learn obviously how to do different spots and so on and so forth. Then there'd be, you just put on like little matches on at the school, and then when they felt like you was ready to go out on the road, then look at different independent shows you can work on. Got a good friend of mine who I met over there. He lives in Bournemouth actually. He's English himself. He's a great competitor, and yeah, we link up from time to time and reminisce and then think, shall we, shan't we? One of those things. I mean, he's a little bit younger than me, so the ball's in his court probably better than mine. But he's just finished his nutritional degree at university, so he may go back into doing it. But swings and roundabouts, really. You need to think, I need to have something in concrete business-wise, or do you continuously go after something and hope? Just trying to level it up a little bit, prioritising. But as I say, it's something never to close the door on. Just if something's meant to be, it's meant to be. But yeah, we'll see what happens really.
What you had a stage name, didn't you, as well?
I was called the Governor over there.
Yes.
So basically, majority of the time, I used to play a bad guy, which in wrestling terms is known as a heel, which is brilliant. I loved it. It's so much more fun playing a heel than it is playing a good guy, or a face as it's called. It's almost in a way more natural. It's so much easier just to flip off the crowd, cuss them, cheat, make sure the ref's got his back turned, do something dirty, and it's fantastic. There was only one occasion I played the good guy role, and it was for a charity gig that we'd done in a little island called St. Croix in the Caribbean. It's one of the American Virgin Islands, and that was the first time that Heath Slater actually went on an aeroplane. You think like how often they're travelling on planes across North America, and then when they go on their world tours, that was the very first time he went on a plane. So that's my claim to fame. I see it. That's your first flight with Heath.
I'm sure he'll be listening to this. Thanks, James.
Give me a shout out on Twitter. And it was great. I say it was great fun, brilliant experience. And as I say, just never know where things will take you. If something's meant to be, it's meant to be, isn't it? So see how it goes.
No, I agree with that, and it's like all of the experiences that you've got from that has only grown you as a person. You know,
must have a lot of confidence coming from that, from being in
it's a big thing to do, because you was quite young when you went out and did that.
I went over there when I was 21. First year, 2004 it was. So work out how old I was. But I think, obviously you need to have a little bit of confidence in your own ability. And then, like anything, the more you practice doing something, then the better you become at it.
But it must take a fair bit to go into a new country, learning a new sport.
It's quite funny though, because I think what helped out with me is that because I was from another country.
Right.
This was great, by the way. Whenever you used to go out, a lot of the girls would notice that you have an accent.
The accent.
And when they all start swooning, not because you're a good-looking fella, it's just because you've got an accent. And then you start thinking, oh, this is all right, isn't it? And then you start milking your accent a little bit more. Think, oh God, don't get this back home and good old Sutton on a night out or wherever I go.
Good old Sutton.
And then just from little things like that just gives you a little bit more, in a way, a bit of an ego boost without being arrogant, but it helps with your self-confidence, and you think, I'm going to go out there. I know these people, even though they're booing me, they actually like my accent. Well, the girls do anyway. Get on the microphone, just go with the flow and get onto it, really.
Good. Plus, as well, like American girls' standards are a lot lower, obviously.
I like big fat ginger people. Flavour of the month. I I wasn't a ginger back then. I think that's where I'm going wrong. This is diet, by the way, I hope you know. Or is it just the lighting? I don't know, one of the two.
It might be the lighting. No, I didn't mean that in a horrible
That's right,
way.
you do. I don't mind.
And actually, I need to change this and flip this over because what I meant was the average Sutton bird.
Careful.
I wasn't going to go there.
Yeah, I was going to say,
no.
but careful because we're venturing into unknown territory here. But yeah, their standards are pretty high considering what they look like. Okay, let's go. Let's move on.
I did say I'm from Wallington.
Yeah.
The upper class suburbs of Wallington.
Unbelievable. I can't believe we ventured down this road.
Are we past the 9 o'clock watershed yet?
That's it, yeah.
Tee off.
So what? Obviously, after you come back from them, was when you really started kicking off your JMB like stuff. You also got involved in Lightforce, didn't you?
Yeah.
Which is like a big factor of what you're doing at the moment. From what I mean, I might be wrong, but from what I remember, the first person the reason I started to get to know Lightforce, obviously apart from through you, was Randy Couture was using it, wasn't he, while he was training to fight. So explain to us a bit, if people don't know what Lightforce is and the pros with it.
Basically, when I got into doing personal training, naturally you have different branches that you can go into of your own particular interests, and I was always interested in the strength and conditioning of athletes, and then aside from the fitness they have to endure for getting ready for particular events and so on, always keen to know what their nutrition was like as well. And of course, because we're involved at Nova Forza with the Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai MMA, I was always interested to look at certain fighters, like their training, their diets and so on and so forth. And I was always fascinated by, as you say, Randy Couture, just because he was a rare example of someone who, the older he got, it just seemed he'd be coming in at better condition all the time.
Yeah.
So obviously I looked at what he was doing training wise, and he's working out really hard in the gym, getting ready for his upcoming fights. And I thought, I wonder what his diet's like. And it was only by chance of just reading through an MMA magazine, and there was a interview with him in there, and he's talking about he follows a fairly alkaline based diet. So like non-acidic foods, a lot of green vegetables, white meats, fish, lots of nuts, that kind of stuff. And he said, to help keep my blood level pH balanced out, I also use this dietary supplement called Lightforce Greens. So immediately, as soon as I look at that, my eyes sort of opened up, and I'm reading a bit more into depth, and he basically said, this is the best supplement I've ever used. And just from that alone, I thought, I'm going to have that for myself. So I just got in contact with the company and said, can I buy one? Tried it out, thought it was great. And then aside from an athlete's point of view, just as a everyday person who doesn't necessarily work out, having something like Lightforce Greens will take care of like all your servings of vegetables on a daily basis. So from a convenience point of view, it just helps to fill in any gaps you've got in your diet.
Yeah.
And
no, but what you're saying about filling in the gaps. I mean,
yeah.
A lot of the guys that train, especially the fighters, they tend to cut down on their carbs.
Yeah.
They don't think about their green intake, their green veg intake, and it is a good way to make sure that they're keeping that coming into their system.
I think a lot of people are too concerned with looking at protein, fats and carbs of everything they eat, or even calories they're consuming. I've always believed, don't count calories, make calories count.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense to me. If you've got a plate of grilled chicken, steamed rice and steamed broccoli. It doesn't matter how many calories are in it because it's all good food and it's going to give you benefits. But yeah, with the greens, the Lightforce greens, it just helps to fill in any gaps you've got in your nutrition.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't pay attention to things like pH levels in their body, like blood chemistry, stuff like that.
So what could be the damage for having a too acidic diet?
If you've got, too much acid in your body, it'll...
Other than heartburn and...
it just helps to elevate cortisol levels,
Right.
it's your stress hormone. It produces more toxins in your bloodstream, can lead to like digestive issues as well. So just by having a more alkaline-based diet, it will just help to reduce that toxin build-up, improve digestive health, flush out any toxins in your bloodstream. So it just helps to increase the oxygen going around your system as well.
Yeah.
So you could notice a performance increase if you say you had a slightly off diet.
Yeah, definitely. There's
More cardio.
there's no stimulant effect to having like a green supplement, but you do get like an internal sort of cleansed type feeling, like a detox type thing.
Yeah, but for someone like Randy Couture to say it's the best supplement he's ever had,
I thought
it has to have some sort of noticeable, like a lot of supplements you take, you're like, is it making a difference?
Also, that guy, man, that guy is something else, because every time that dude fought, he was, not only was he ripped and on weight, he was strong, his cardio was through the roof. So to look at him and to see a product that he's using and go, do you know what? Yeah, that's got to be working, because you can see it in him, you know.
Yeah, is it a fairly well-known product out in America? Is it?
It was so-so. Within the MMA community.
Right.
Since I've taken it over, it's still in a developing process at the moment. But I've introduced it to.
So when you say take it over, you're now like a distributor for it.
It's taking the whole thing over.
Oh, taking the whole thing.
Yeah.
So right, wow.
Yeah. So hopefully trying to take it into a new direction. Still got a decent athlete base which are using it. Got one of our teammates, Jimmy Manoa, who fights in the UFC. He's using it. We've got a couple of female athletes as well. Dominique Allen plays basketball for Great Britain. Lauren Winfield plays cricket for England. My mate Heath from WWE, he's using it. Not just because it's a case of I'm your mate, I'll help plug it for you. He actually genuinely struggles to get, X amount of vegetables in his diet on a daily basis. So just for a convenience factor, scoop of that, and then that's sorted out.
So how do you take it? It's like one scoop in a shaker.
It's a teaspoon. It's very concentrated. Mix it with water and then drink it, absorbed into your system.
Is it flavoured or is it like unflavoured?
To me, it's not amazing. It's not horrendous. It is what it is. To me, it's got like a tea-like taste to it.
Like a green tea kind of.
Yeah, if taste is really an issue, you can mix it into like a protein shake or a smoothie.
Just imagine if I ever used a supplement like that, I'd probably put it in with a protein shake. So kind of all in one.
Yeah, but more often than not, when people say, "Oh, what can I do to make it taste better?" I just say, "Just grow a set and down it."
Well,
I think it's a teaspoon.
Be a man, even if you're a woman. Be a man.
Exactly. To be fair, if you're just gonna have, I know when I take it, because I do use this supplement as well. I always have it in the morning. So you get up first thing in the morning and you go, do you know what? Neck it. You're not going to taste like shit all. Do you know what I mean? You're just going to neck it, and it's done. It's in your system, and you're ready for the day.
A teaspoon. That's
it's not a lot.
Small
it's a powder.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really fine powder, and there's loads of great stuff in it. There's wheatgrass, isn't there, and a few other things.
So it's all vegetable based.
Yeah, it's just made. It's 100% organic, made up of grass juice powders, vegetables, and herbs.
Vegans, they can take it.
They can.
You're in, Paul. You can have that in your lentils.
That's it.
Double dosage for vegans.
Exactly. So are you taking the company, trying to get more athletes involved with it?
So at the moment, we're in the process of trying to launch it into UK retail outlets, and then once that gets up and running, the next stage is to develop a protein bar using the greens as well.
Like an all vegetable protein bar?
So, I mean, we're looking at the best source of protein to use in it, but it's just another way of thinking outside the box of getting one of your 5 a day in your system.
Oh,
so as opposed to just having a piece of fruit, you know, not everyone has the opportunity to, you know, grab that on the go.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just something different as well, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So it's a protein bar with
some greens in it as well.
Yeah, that's pretty ideal. Pretty ideal, I'd say.
That's it. So here we go. I'll have to get a few guinea pigs.
So what sort of proteins would you look at? I mean, I'm interested in what proteins do you feel are like the most beneficial? Different times of the day? Or?
I mean, I'm quite a big fan of whey protein, just because it's fast acting, it gets absorbed into your system very quickly. Casein protein is a good one for periods where, if you feel you're going to go for an extended period of time without having anything to eat, casein's a slow releasing protein, so that'll just help to curb your appetite until you do get a chance to eat something again.
So your ideal bar, so we're going to talk about this Lightforce bar, it's going to be have your greens in it. Does it have whey protein in it?
Yeah.
And a bit of casein? Sort of, so you get the both, or would you go
I'm going to do some experimenting.
Okay.
Maybe one of each. So we'll get a little bit crazy.
Get a slow release and post-workout. And
that's it, intra-workout bar.
Brilliant. Added caffeine? Would you stay away from the caffeine? Guarana?
I probably wouldn't include that, no, just because of its stimulant based.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
So just try and go along the organic principles still.
So you wouldn't even like say guarana's any good for?
It's got its place, definitely. But just I wouldn't use it for what I'm going for, basically.
Sure. And some people might not eat it because it's a stimulant.
Yeah.
I think for sure.
Exactly.
I'm going to eat that now because it's got a stimulant.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to tick all the boxes and please everyone.
Yeah.
But if you have a certain market which you feel will buy into it and are going to obviously believe in it more often than not, then go with that.
Yeah,
definitely.
For sure.
And then word of mouth is always the best form of advertising. So.
Good stuff.
So feel free to tell your mates and
get a t-shirt. Get a t-shirt.
Get a t-shirt.
That's it.
So where do you think you're headed now with the strongman stuff? Are you going to enter some more competitions, or because I know there's different levels as well of sort of strongman as such?
I've definitely got the feel for it. So I think the next thing to do is just train hard for the next couple of months. We'll have a look at which competitions are going to be held in certain parts of the country. I'm quite happy to go abroad as well. You know, you can probably just do a competition, have a holiday afterwards. Best of both worlds that way.
Brilliant.
Probably prefer to do the competition at the start of the holiday as opposed to the end. I really enjoy it just because of the versatility of the sport. There's so many different events involved in strongman, and the good thing about it is that you can win a competition but not actually win any of the events. Just about being consistent throughout the whole course of the show. So for example, if there's 10 competitors, if you win an event you'll get 10 points for that event. If you come last you get 1. So I mean, if you win 2 out of the 5 events but then come last in the other 3, and then you get someone who comes second in every event, that person who comes second is going to win the overall competition.
So what's your favourite event? What's your favourite strongman event?
I'm a big fan of the Farmer's Walk.
Farmer's Walk.
I've developed a good grip strength from doing jiu-jitsu.
Actually, I'm glad you said jiu-jitsu.
I was going to say years of jiu-jitsu. It's not really been consistent. Like the month here, week there.
But in saying that, you've recently got your purple belt, so that's pretty good.
Just before Christmas, I think Ricardo just felt a bit sorry for me. Been there for a long time and just plodding along.
So have you been on off?
Yeah, I'd like to have been more consistent. Right. It is what it is. I mean, I'll still train when I can.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a great atmosphere down there. Brilliant club.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it to anyone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. I mean, I've met so many great people there from all walks of life as well.
Yeah.
And but yeah, like so. I mean, I've had a few years as well where I've been on and off of training, injuries, work based as well, like where I'm working and stuff, and it does grind you because when you want to go back to training, you want to go back fully. You know, you want to be back full time, don't you? You don't want to sort of do the odd lesson here and there, but sometimes that's your only option, and you just got to do it for that period of time until you can get momentum again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and in the same respect to that, a lot of the guys, like I said earlier, they do strength and conditioning with you, don't they? Like Curtis is a prime example who recently won a title belt as well.
Yeah.
And Banny as well, Banny Dondaven.
Yeah, we've done.
Both took title belts on Fusion. Anyone who's into UK MMA, Fusion is a fantastic show, and you know the guys are really coming up. Ricardo and Mark Hobbs run a great event there, and the guys, you know, like with what James was doing with them, that you could see it in them. That you know their strength and their cardio and everything was really, you know, at their peak. At their peak. And what sort of stuff were you doing with them? I mean,
we was actually introducing a lot of strongman type exercises. It's just because some of them are so practical that you can transfer into MMA. Things like the Atlas Stone, for example, you can relate that to picking someone up and slamming them.
Yeah.
So it's like a whole body exercise where you get into the habit of getting down low, exploding up through your legs, then driving through your hips, and then that way that'll help to strengthen hip drive, posterior chain muscles as well. So it's quite good for your posture as well.
Yeah.
Tire flipping, excellent. Very same sort of principle, getting your body into a low position, exploding up, and then just using obviously the upper part of the body when you come to the flip over. The farmer's walk and the yoke carry, the one where you carry the frame across the shoulders, excellent in terms of helping to develop core stability. And just all over muscular strength and endurance. Really. It's improving your anaerobic capacity because, as you know, like from experience, Theo, fighting, you'll have explosive periods where you'll use up a lot of oxygen and energy in a short period of time.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's just using specific exercises which are going to be relevant to the activity you're doing.
Yeah.
We did quite a lot of like sprint based activities down there, a lot of like fast explosive stuff like plyometrics, prowler sled pulls and pushes as well, just like I say real fast dynamic stuff which is going to be applicable and relevant to MMA.
I've noticed that about some of the stuff I did with you down at Light to Lift, like the sledges on the tire and things like that. It is explosive stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what you do need for MMA, and you do need for most martial arts. You need to be strong and explosive to work your techniques and things like that. That's what I think the biggest variant between just doing weights for your martial arts and stuff like that, and doing stuff like this, actually practical exercise, you know.
Yeah. And as well, it's fresh, it's new, it's interesting, as opposed to just going into the gym and doing the same old routine that your instructor gave you when you first joined, like do that for 10 minutes, that for 10 minutes, do 2 sets of 10 on 10 different exercises. I mean, when I said earlier about there's a high turnover of people joining then leaving gyms in a short period of time, it's just because all they know is what's given to them on a sheet, and there's not really any personal interaction with like staff and customers down there. I mean, obviously it's generally speaking from my own personal experience, when you've got somewhere like where I'm at the moment, Like to Lift, it's like a family in a way, in the same sense like Nova Forcer is for martial arts. Like everyone connects, there's chemistry, you're there to help one another out, encourage, and just help develop new ideas to help not only yourself but help others improve all the time.
That's one thing. See, it's true actually, because that's a really big crossover between when I went to Light to Lift. Believe it or not, guys, I was doing a bit of training to enter that strongman competition, wasn't I? And unfortunately, I had a couple of injuries which just I couldn't get over. But and it was like the atmosphere there was other guys training for the same competition, but they were coming over and they were helping and they were putting a bit of input in. And I find that crossover is the same as at Nova, where you got guys going down for the first time and guys are willing to go over and go, you do it like this, I love that, because that environment is a productive environment. That's where people are going to learn and enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah, definitely. So how would you? So is it a membership based thing at Like to Lift, or say I wanted to do some strongman training?
Yeah.
Could you just go down there, lift some stones, or
absolutely? Yeah, there's always.
So there's just like a normal gym. There'll just be a free weight section. In here, there's like a free weight section, strongman section.
Yeah, it's got everything inside the gym down there. So I mean, there's always someone on hand to help you out.
Right. Yeah.
We've got like some really good trainers down there, like personal trainers, strength and conditioning specialists,
Right.
and anyone down there is qualified enough, has enough knowledge to help out someone who's a novice just coming in for the first time.
I mean, I've lifted Atlas stones before,
and
they are a unique experience in trying to lift them things up. So if I was a new guy who'd never really lifted one, and I went to a gym like that and tried to lift them, are they really light ones to start with?
The smallest one we've got down here is 85 kilos.
85. I mean, that sounds heavy.
And that is heavy.
That's heavy.
Because not because 85 kilos is heavy. It's the shape.
That's it.
Everything.
The joys of strongman.
There's a technique.
Make stuff as awkward as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely a technique to getting them things up.
100% there's a technique, because I tried with brute force and I could only get so far. And then James pointed out about the grip and where I was sat over the Atlas ball and stuff made a massive difference.
I mean, brute strength will only get you so far, and then it gets to a point where you need to use technique in order to progress.
At some point, it's taking a hard path to get to the same.
A great example is the deadlift. The deadlift for me is probably the out and out best exercise to test like true raw strength. Just a heavy weight on the ground and just see if you can pick it up. It'll get to a certain point where you can throw your form out the window, like poor technique, to muscle it up. But after a certain point, it will not go unless you use the right technique. If you look at Olympic weightlifters, like the clean and jerk and the snatch are the two lifts that they do, you look how they're lifting it, and it's very fast and explosive. It looks like they're using like their upper body to bring the bar up off the ground, but in actual fact all they're doing is they're using their legs just to thrust forward and drop right underneath the bar. So, because at the end of the day, your legs is where your source of power and strength comes from. So the more you use here, then the better you can transfer that resistance into your upper body when you drive upwards.
Olympic lifting's a different animal.
It's hard.
Altogether.
When we did deadlifts, when I came with you, what was that bar called? I mean, I couldn't even get my hands around it.
Oh, the axle bar.
Yeah. Oh my God. When I say to you guys, like, when I got pretty decent sized hands, I haven't got girly hands, but I could not touch my fingers around this bar. Like, it was like that, and it made so much more emphasis on my wrists, like strength on my wrists.
Yeah,
that's the axle bar is what they'll use in strongman competitions. You got the standard Olympic barbells, which are about half the diameter. And what's good about the Olympic barbells is when you do things like the clean and press, the bar will actually roll when you clean it, but the axle bar doesn't.
That's a fixed solid.
So you basically got to sort of muscle it up a little bit more. Obviously, same again. You still need to use technique, but it's a lot more difficult to do than with a standard Olympic barbell. But I mean, that's why it's called strongman, though, isn't it?
Well, this is it.
It's kind of making me want to go do some strongman training.
That's it.
Definitely.
I've got the keys with me. have a Lightforce Greens, we'll go down.
They've got those crazy Nordic gyms, haven't they? Where it's like a little room like this, and you've just got these like monsters that can't even fit in the room, and they're just picking up the world.
A bit like us, isn't it?
Well, that's it.
So you got a favourite strongman at the moment?
I'm a big fan of. His nickname is Thor.
Oh, right.
His name's Thor Bjornsson. He plays a character called the Mountain in a TV show, The Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And he's an absolute animal, that fella. He's 6'9". I think he weighs about 190 kilos.
190 kilos.
Just to give you an idea of how big that is, I'm 6'4". He's 6'9". I'm 133 kilos. He's 190.
You wouldn't be sitting on that seat.
No. I'm actually standing up. But yeah, I mean, he's just, for a man his size, he's very athletic as well. I think he originated from basketball as a teenager. Picked up an injury, couldn't play at a level. I mean, I might be wrong about that, but as far as I'm aware. And then just obviously got in the gym, and then coaches realised he's actually got potential to do strongman, and rest is history. Now he's like one of the best in the world at doing it.
There's some decent genetics for strongman.
Quite a big fan of the charismatic Eddie Hall as well. He's an English strongman. He's currently got the deadlift world record, which is I think 463 kilos.
That's just incredible. I've actually watched that, and you look at him holding this bar, and it's bending like fuck. But when you see how many weights are on the end of it, and actually, the one he do was on an axle bar as well. Did he do? And there was like tyres on it.
Oh, the Hummer tie. That was something else. I think he recently did he broke the record at Europe's Strongest Man, which was on last month.
Oh, and Arnie was there, wasn't he?
That was the few months before.
Oh, right.
So he broke it again just by a kilo, but you know, record's a record, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, the time before was at the Arnold Classic in Australia, where he did it in front of Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. But yeah, it's evolving all the time, strongman. I mean, if you look at some of the athletes who were at the top of their game in strongman when I was growing up as a boy watching it, and then look at comparing those to today, it's evolved so much.
Yeah, it's like Pudzianowski was like the big changer in my opinion.
That's it.
Went from the big, huge, just really heavy guys. They just went for weight. To the more athletic, muscular builds.
I think you just need to be good all round, really. I mean, it's one thing being who can like pick up the heaviest sort of object from a static position, but that won't necessarily win you a competition if you're not good at dynamic and moving events. So it's good to train yourself in everything, really.
And they do change the events up quite a lot. Cause I remember years ago they used to have like a concrete like cross thing that they used to have to pick up like this and waddle as far as they could go. And you think, I mean, it looks like you're like, I could do that. These things were like 170 kilos, and you think you've got to hold it. You're almost hugging the damn thing like that. That's crazy.
It's pretty brutal.
Their
hands
and their arms and stuff like that. Actually, you were using like a tacky stuff, weren't you? Like
for the Atlas stone.
That work?
I think for me, I prefer not to use tacky. But if the stone, once it gets to a certain point, then it helps out of your grip a lot more, especially if the stone's smooth. If it's got a rough surface, you can get better grip on it. But when it's a smooth stone, it's much harder. So that's where the tacky will come in a lot more useful.
And what's like a typical diet for a strongman? I mean, is it literally anything and everything, or
I
is
think nowadays is a little bit more cleaner than how it used to be. It pretty much used to be eat everything in sight in the good old days.
No Glen Ross.
Yeah.
And who was the British guy with a beard?
Jeff Capes.
Jeff Capes.
Oh,
I remember
legend.
seeing photos of him with like 20 boiled eggs and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
Wouldn't expect anything less, would you, really? Brilliant. But I think they eat a lot better nowadays than they used to. I mean, naturally, just through education, like science has evolved. There's more knowledge. It's the same within like the fitness. Things to do with strength and conditioning, as well as the nutrition. Everything evolves.
Yeah, probably nowadays we've all got nutritionalists or guys. Whereas way back when it was probably starting out, it was literally eat all you can to try to think in sizes, strength.
That's it. I mean, I remember watching a video clip of Usain Bolt a little while ago, and he literally finished a training session, and he's got a massage table set up at trackside. So as soon as he's done, he's got all his like supplements there for recovery purposes, and then he's straight on the slab. Getting fixed, ready to go again.
See, See, it's funny. You say that. I was listening to, I think it was probably Joe Rogan's podcast, and they were talking about recovery and stuff. And a lot of people were jumping straight into a big ice bath now, and just like getting cold, really cold,
like a plunge pool.
Plunge pool, and he was talking about a cryo.
Cryotherapy.
Minus ridiculous. He goes in with the mask on.
That's right. And it's like you're in head first or some shit like that. But obviously we know a lot more about the body now. So obviously it must reduce swelling and things like that.
They'll probably pick up a few tips from Stallone and Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man.
Cryogenically
frozen,
weren't they? I think Wesley Snipes looks a lot better in that than Stallone, unfortunately. He had a much better character, that was for sure.
He's got better powers when he was thawed out, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Stallone got the ability to knit, didn't he? He got thawed out in the future. I'll be happy with that.
You've got to love those films though, like any film from the 80s and 90s. It's just pure genius. I mean, we talk about it all the time, Predator. I mean, you can't. I mean,
it's like the ultimate man film, isn't it? Predator.
He's in amazing shape in that as well.
Yeah,
amazing shape.
Even who's the guy?
Dylan.
Carl Weathers. Yeah.
Carl Weathers. That's it. That dude's in shape.
Yeah.
In shape in that film as well.
I mean, considering Arnie was like Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
And he wasn't far off at that time.
They all got into politics as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
We had Blaine, who was Jesse Ventura. He was a governor of Minnesota.
Yeah.
I think it was his influence that got Schwarzenegger into politics.
Oh, right.
Billy from Predator, I think he ran for mayor of Kentucky or something like that. Yeah. Carl Weathers is just a hero.
Didn't know that.
But the thing is as well, as far as we were talking about the advancement of what we know today, and you look at these guys, and look at Arnie now, look at the films he's doing now, look at the guy's shape. It's incredible. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah.
I mean, Sylvester Stallone. They look absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know that that's not just eating clean, but
they eat dirty as well.
They eat a lot of dirt. But that's all to do with better training, better facilities, better recovery, you know, better knowledge on what you're doing and stuff, you know.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the foundation is your training, you know, supplemented with your nutrition as well. If those two are, you know, on point, then you're naturally going to get results anyway. Anything else just helps to fine tune it all, really.
Yeah, no, definitely agree with that. Is there like anything specifically, like so as a runner, you might go, I need this type of trainer, or like trainers as in wearing on your feet, and for a long distance runner or for a sprinter would be different. For strongman, is there anything that you would say, I need this, or like if you were playing cricket, you'd have a particular type of footwear, I suppose. I don't know. I mean,
spikes.
Spikes, yeah. So I mean, is there anything in strongman that people would use? Is it like wearing maybe a weights like support?
Yeah, I mean, the weightlifting belts will give you added support on a lot of things. Footwear, there's certainly some events that I feel better without actually wearing shoes, like the deadlift and the squat. I just find I get a more of a natural feel pushing my feet into the surface to help with driving upwards. But I mean, you can get specialist weightlifting shoes as well, which have got soles designed to get better traction to the surface. But yeah, I think it all depends on the individual at the end of the day. Yeah.
Well, I think we should wrap up. Do you want to tell us a bit more about your websites and Twitter and so on and so forth?
Yeah. So for personal training and strength and conditioning, all the sessions are at Like to Lift Gym. You can get the information on www.jmbfitness.co.uk. And then anything to do with Lightforce Greens, that's available on the website www.lightforcegreens.com. If you want to ask me any questions at all about strength, conditioning, fitness, diet, nutrition, anything like that, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at JMB Nutrition.
Awesome. Oh, nice one, James.
All right.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you. I'm sure we'll have you again at some point.
That's been fun.
We'll maybe talk a bit more about the banana story next time.
Yeah, I'll get a bigger fridge fitted in.
Brilliant.